Keep on rocking in the
Free world.
Keep on rocking in the free world.
Ah, who's this neighbor who parked behind me, I see?
You want to do what I'm doing, and you want to know what van to buy, or what type of RV. Not necessarily a Class B RV like mine, but maybe you're looking at other types of RVs. And a lot of people cling on to horror stories or bad experiences that some other people had in their vans. And that's not a good idea to do. I think you need to look at things overall and not just listen to one person, but listen to 100 people. So here I'm just throwing my 2 cents into the pile when I tell you this stuff. And I've been doing this again for 17 years, a long time, in the middle of a metropolis. I'm in an area with multiple cities with a population of around 3 million people. And I park everywhere from down here at the beach where I am right now to right near downtown. I am all over the board. So I can tell you something. First of all, the word stealth, it doesn't mean you need to be invisible and hiding in a plumber's van. I learned a long time ago that you don't need to do that. In fact, that makes it worse, especially in the city environment. Here's an example. This is where I was parked earlier, right in front of a whole bunch of multi-unit townhomes. And you see that white van behind me? It's a nice girl that lives in that van. Now, she didn't buy that van to quote unquote be stealth, but I know a lot of people buy vans like that to be stealth. And granted, a lot of them are just fine. They never have any problems and they park anywhere. But here's the thing. I'm driving the big purple RV. My license plates say RV Life on them. I advertise my YouTube channel on this side. I was parked right here with my front and back doors wide open and my music on, and neighbors were coming out to walk their dogs and stopped in to chat with me because they thought the van is freaking awesome, and they're asking me all sorts of questions about it and how I enjoy my lifestyle, and they just think it's awesome. One guy came up just to shake my hand and said, "I've seen this van around the neighborhood. I just had to see who owned it. I think it's the best thing ever." Another one just came up to me and said that I watch you on your YouTube channel and I saw you parked basically in my neighborhood, so I had to come say hi. This is my stealth. Meanwhile, if you're parked in the white van behind me, the unmarked van with something obviously blocking view so you can't see in through the windshield, and or you have stuff up on your windows or whatever, and then you get in and out of that van and the neighbors here see that, they're likely to call the police or be very creeped out by it because it looks weird. Whereas I've got the RV with my doors open and it's obvious I'm living in it, nobody cares. So that's stealth. If I was in a plain white van, I would be worried about being seen getting in and out of my van, especially in areas where other people live. If they see that, it just looks damn weird. So if I was getting to my van and there's all those townhouses behind me, I mean, chances are at least somebody saw me get in my van, and then I shut the door and the van doesn't move. I mean, hello, it's pretty obvious you're in that van. And it looks, I mean, I'm a van dweller, but even to me, I can totally understand how everyone in those houses would think that's creepy. I don't want that in my neighborhood. See what I'm saying? Now, I used to think that you had to live like that, and then I started seeing people getting hassled all over the place in their plain Jane cargo vans, and I realized, geez, it makes no difference at all. And when I'm in my RV, it's obvious what I'm doing. I'm not trying to hide it, and people are relaxed around me because of that. And they're totally, you know, there might be somebody who doesn't want me taking the parking spaces and whatnot, and I'm very respectful of that. I only park for a few hours here or there, or maybe one night at a time, but I don't stay there. That's the other golden rule, of course, and nobody minds. And there's nobody thinking, oh, that's weird, the guy's getting in an RV and closing the door. Well, of course, it's an RV. It's obviously that it's obvious that somebody's staying in it. Especially when I get in, close the door, and pull the curtains. But it's not, it doesn't put up any red flags. You see what I'm saying? So it also depends if you're going to be living in the city or you're going to be living out in, you know, boondocking in the boondocks, way out in the middle of nowhere, out in the suburbs or whatever. It makes a big difference too on what kind of vehicle you're going to get. When you're looking for a vehicle to do what I'm doing, and you're say you're working a full-time job in a city, you need something that's city-sized. which, like mine here, is about 20 feet long, 6.4 meters. That's the maximum I would always recommend, because it's the standard size of a parking space. And in most cities, not all, but in most major cities, there are bylaws against having over-length vehicles over that length. Some cities it's 20 feet, some it's 21 feet, some it's 24 feet. You'll have to look it up in the city you're going to be residing in. But even if the law was 24 feet, which here in Vancouver it's actually 21 feet, but even if it was 24 feet, I still wouldn't buy a 24-footer because it's that much harder to park anywhere, because parking spaces aren't that long. Now you need 2 spaces, or you got to park sideways, or and you got to find a place where there's 2 cars leave at the same time and pull in. Whereas this, I can back it in anywhere that anyone could back a pickup truck into. I can fit between 2 meters. I can back into single spots everywhere. So it makes your life a lot easier. And you don't really need the extra space. Trust me, I used to have a big Class A motorhome. I've had lots of Class C's, and my life was no better having all that extra space. In fact, I was just accumulating more clutter that and junk that I don't need. So that's I mean, a lot of people are ready to jump into the minimalist lifestyle right away. They want to get a little Volkswagen van or a little cargo van, and that's great. And then there's other people that are afraid because they've only lived in big houses their whole life or whatever, so they think they need all that space. But they quickly learn that I meet people all the time that started off by buying a big 26 or 30 footer because they're cheap. They're generally half the price of a van like mine. Easily, I could have bought 2 Winnebagos for the price of this van. So it's very tempting when you see the inside of it. You're like, oh, this is like an apartment, I'll buy this. Now you're screwed. You can't park it anywhere legally, or it's just a pain in the butt. You're not going to drive it around every day. But what I would suggest is that whatever you buy, make sure it's obviously in running condition and it looks decent. That's the biggest thing to consider. Whether it's your plumbing van, your Class B RV, your small Class C RV, whatever it is, make sure it looks nice. And that's all relative, yes. Like, a lot of people will think that early 70s Class C is beautiful condition. It's got the original orange or yellow or green stripes on it and da-da-da-da-da. I'd agree with you, but the average Joe in the city will look at it and go, look at that piece of crap, what's it doing on my block? Make sure it looks nice. Even if you got to change the color, you got to paint it, just at least make sure it's clean. You would not believe how much of a difference it will make. You will not have people calling the police. You won't have people upset that you're in their parking spots as much if your vehicle looks nice. Doesn't matter if it looks like an RV or looks like a plain van. Appearance is everything. Now, as far as brands because I get mostly asked about Class Bs because that's my RV of choice. Brands: Leisure Travel Van, top-notch, high quality. Pleasureway, top-notch, high quality. Road Trek, top-notch, high quality. All of them are Canadian, by the way, too. So is Islander, which is mine. Top-notch, high quality. Most of the Class Bs are. I haven't found any Class Bs that are, thrown together really quickly and cheaply like Class Cs generally are. But you're going to pay a lot for them. So, prepare yourself. I mean, all of you watching know a Class B costs a lot of money. You're getting a big motorhome in a very compact package. They cost more to make, and they last longer, and they're built better. So keep all that in mind. Just avoid that temptation to get that big RV off Craigslist because it's half the price of the vans, especially if you're going to do the city life. If you're going to be out in the country, that's a whole nother story. I'm not really the channel for that. But as far as the urban thing goes, yeah, you want to fit between those parking spots. You don't want to look like an eyesore, and appearance is everything. But I would recommend all of those brands: Islander, Road Trek, Pleasureway, Leisure Travel Van. Down in the States, there's one called Coach House, which you don't really see much up here, but I've heard from owners down there. They're very much comparable to a Leisure Travel or a Pleasureway. If you want a little extra space, go for a wide body model similar to mine. They're just a little bit wider, not quite as wide as a Class C, but wider than a standard van. And you get that little extra space, but it still fits in the same parking space. So, and it's another advantage too is that these wide bodies are fiberglass, and that's a better insulator, lasts longer, it won't rust, they won't dent, they're easy to fix. So there's a lot of advantages to having that fiberglass wide body. A lot of the Class Bs on the Dodge Ram van, the Ford Econoline vans were wide bodies. As far as the brand, the automotive brand, not the RV brand, Chevy, Dodge, Ford, the most common 3 out there. Dodge ruled the market until 2003 when they stopped making these Ram vans, and then some of the manufacturers went out of business when Dodge stopped making the vans, such as Islander and Explorer and a few others. And then other manufacturers switched to Ford and Chevy, and some of them have gone on to Sprinters and Transits and all that now. But any of them are good. They all have cult followings. They all have very similar construction qualities, and most of them have different floor plan options. Islander was available with the front party plan like I have, with the big rear bathroom with a huge shower, or you could get it with the smaller side bathroom and a rear bed if you wanted to. So you look around when you find what you want, and then you can see if you can find different floor plans too. Now, as far as finding them, that's another thing. People are always like, where did you find that Islander? How come I can't find one? It can sometimes take months, if not years, to find the one that you want. Class Bs are not exactly available on every car lot around the city. When I was looking for the Islander, well, I've been looking for a good Islander for over a decade, but they never came up for sale anywhere in the country when I happened to be looking for another RV. This time I got lucky. This one was for sale right when I started searching for a new RV when I sold that last one. Like, I had it planned a week ahead. Before the buyer came up to buy my last RV, I had already put a down payment on this one, and I flew up to Campbell River and bought this one and drove it back to Vancouver. So I got lucky with that. But yes, you're not going to have any luck searching for the Class B of your dreams just by going to Craigslist and hoping it's there in your city. You might, but chances are you're going to have to expand your search to cities all over the country and over the border. And if you're in the States, vice versa, check over the Canadian border too. And you might have to do some importing. But hey, it's worth it. If it's your house we're talking about here. It's not like, you know, that black Honda Civic you had your eye on. Well, if you can't find it, then just go to the next dealer, you'll find one. You know, it's not like that with a Class B. They're rare, they're expensive, and people rarely give them up once they've got them. And a lot of the times it's an estate sale, or the people who own it, who bought it new, simply can't use them anymore. They're too old. The lady who owned this had it for 16 years before I bought it, and she only took it out 6 or 7 times. And they had it parked in their driveway. They cleaned it, they started it, they ran the engine, they changed the oil, they took care of it, but they never actually took it on the road, you know, more than a few times. And so, you know, quite often 15-20-year-old RV is just barely broken in. So don't let age deter you either of the RV, because most RVs, once they hit about 15 years old, that's usually equal to a 2 or 3-year-old commuter car. That's how little they're usually used. It's very common to get an RV from the 80s and 90s where the odometers have not even rolled over once, the toilets have never been used. This is really common, more common than not. So don't waste your money on anything new, first of all. And second of all, don't let age deter you, unless you live like out in the Rust Belt or something. But here on the coast, it's quite common to see vehicles from the 60s and 70s without a speck of rust on them. So it would be pretty stupid to throw your money away on a new RV when you can buy a 20-year-old RV that literally is brand new. I hope I've got that all covered for you. Now let's say you don't have the budget for a Class B and you found a nice little Class C. Again, make sure it's somewhere around 21 feet or less to save yourself a lot of headaches. And for legal reasons, you're gonna have just a much better time. And you don't have to listen to me. There are tons of other people that'll tell you the same thing, mostly city dwellers as well. You'll notice in all my videos I do around Vancouver, whenever I'm driving by a bunch of people parked in their RVs, the vast majority of them are city-sized. Truck and camper, Class B, or small Class Cs are the most common. They're everywhere. It is an absolutely beautiful evening down here. There's going to be a car show down here in this parking lot tomorrow, just for any cars, and there's going to be some custom vans as well. This is the same parking lot that I did the CamperCon in last year, and we'll probably do it again this year right here. But there's a car show here tomorrow, and the organizer of that happens to follow me and knows my van, so he says, bring your van down, and I said sure. And then someone else commented and said, hey, check out my custom Dodge Ram van. It's a hot rod van. I'm gonna bring it down too. And it's like, sweet, so we'll have at least a couple of cool vans here tomorrow, maybe some more. If you have any other questions for me, just go to my website, linked in the description below, www.rv.life, and I will do my best to answer you as soon as possible, and I might even make a YouTube video to respond to you. Keep on rocking in the free world.
You are watching Just Incredible TV.
Want to see more? Become a patron and see exclusive content. Plus, see new, just incredible videos before anyone on YouTube. Head over to patreon.com/JCredTV and keep on rocking in the free world.